Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing to take a look at the next week's slate and heading down to the state of Kentucky for what I think is one of the more underrated, underappreciated rivalries in college football. Kentucky heading on the road to play the Louisville Cardinals. And I go back to the days where Lynn Bowden was running the Wildcat for Kentucky. Watching that game, these programs have a lot of hatred for each other. Exactly what college football is about. Fired up to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The amount of support y'all have shown for all of these game breakdowns, it truly does mean a lot. If you do enjoy the content, you want to support the fellas, consider subscribing to the channel. And more importantly, best part about doing this, hearing from you guys in the comment section, chopping it up about ball. Let us know your picks, predictions, keys to the game. Dill, going to give you the T-box here. Kentucky heading on the road to Cardinal Stadium. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, one of those rivalries, again, it flies under the radar of maybe the Iron Bowl or the Michigan-Ohio State, but one that I think you said it, like has a lot of hatred, a lot of energy, and in two teams that, frankly, I get Kentucky maybe a bit of a disappointing year. You know this program's been going in the right direction, been very tough, and then Louisville just, skyrocketing with what Jeff Brohm's doing. You got to be pumped if you're a Louisville fan.
Jeff Brohm's coach of the year, in my opinion. He took this Louisville team that a lot of changing parts. And for his ability to identify talent in the transfer portal, get it all in and have it all come together. We said this Louisville team heading into the year, it has a lot of talent. How does this program and all the new players come together? We have our answer. They're sitting at 10-1, already an ACC championship berth, locked up in a top 10 team in the entire country. As much talk as this Louisville Cardinals team gets for the offensive side of the ball and Jeff Brohm and what he's going to bring to the offense, still, what's made this Cardinals team special is the defense. And you look at this Kentucky offense, it can run the football all right, but Devin Leary, I think would be fair to say a little bit of a disappointment in terms of quarterbacks in the transfer portal.
And that's the thing. Louisville's, what they're doing is they're very aggressive trying to stop the run. If you watch how they play these teams, like the way you can kind of beat them, I suppose, if you're going to do it, is how Miami did it, where you need very, very good offensive line play. You need people to pick their linebackers and safeties up as they come down into the box and try to make plays. And then you need a running back to make a lot of plays. And obviously for Kentucky, that's kind of what they have right now is Ray Davis. He is as good as they come in this.
Yeah, this Kentucky offense, the run game's been phenomenal. I mean, Ray Davis is arguably the best running back in the SEC. They're averaging 5.1 yards per carry. That's top 15 in the country. And the story of this game is, can they get the ground game going against a Cardinals defense that has been really good against the run, only giving up 3.5 yards per carry, top 25 mark in the country. And you've seen them do it against good offenses. I remember Notre Dame coming into Cardinal Stadium. You're thinking Notre Dame's going to get the ground game going against the Cardinals. Absolutely not, Dill. I think Devin Leary is going to have to come up with some throws to win this football game. And as I've seen Devin Leary prepping this game, going back and watching some film, I don't know if I have that much confidence in him.
And I agree with you, because at the end of the day, I think as much as I'm a believer in Ray Davis, I don't think this is one of the better Kentucky offensive lines we've seen. I don't think they block linebackers at a high enough level. And again, you look at how Louisville plays. Their linebackers play so fast. You need to be so kind of on your P's and Q's like Miami was. But that, to me, Devin Leary just needs to play the way we've seen him capable of playing. He's just got to do it. I mean, the way he played against Tennessee, if we get that version of Devin Leary, Kentucky's got a chance to really be a 9-win ball club, I think. It's just
I agree with that.
Not
Devin
enough.
Leary, if you got the NC State version of 2021 Devin Leary, I think the outlook and how we're talking about this Kentucky team is a little bit different. But you look at his numbers, at 55% completion percentage, only 6.8 yards per pass. So you're not completing many of your passes, and you got the weapons on the outside, but you're not hitting the explosive plays either. When you turn on the Kentucky film, you see Devin Leary just miss some throws that when you're trying to win ball games at the Power 5 level in the SEC conference, you can't miss those kind of throws, and that's exactly what Devin Leary has done. And you look at this Cardinals defense, specifically in the back end, they're awesome in the front end, right? Guys like Herhan, Ashton Gelati playing at such a high level, stopping the run. In the back end, they've been elite, only giving up a 56% completion percentage. That's 19th in the country. They have given up some big plays. That's probably one of the things that you're circled in. 7.3 yards per pass. That is outside the top 70. Can Devin Leary in this Kentucky offense find those big plays against this Cardinals defense?
Well, and that's the huge part, because you go back and watch Devin Leary. He, again, in that short intermediate, he's gotten better. And obviously the first part of this season, it was all just kind of bad. But towards the end, he's been able to hit those plays that, again, just a quarterback should be hitting. And he's doing it, and good for him for that. But you're right, to leave all those points on the game against South Carolina, not hitting not very open, but deep balls that just need to be hit at this level. If you're going to be a team in Kentucky who wants to go beat a Missouri or a South Carolina or some of these better teams in the SEC, he's just not hitting them. In the wide receivers, I think, are doing their part. They are dropping balls a little bit. They're getting space, though.
I think it comes down to you're going to need a good performance out of Devin Leary to win this ballgame. Because this Cardinals defense is too good for Devin Leary to play as, I hate to just grill the kid, but mediocre and win this football game. Now you flip sides. Another really interesting matchup. Kentucky, especially against the run, has been really good. 3.3 yards per carry given up, 2 opposing running backs. Deion Walker still pissed he's not in a Michigan Wolverine helmet. You got Trevin Wallace, who's an absolute dog at the linebacker spot. You look at this Louisville offense, they've made a strong pivot to the run game, running the ball 55% of the time. Jawar Jordan was carrying the load earlier in the season. Enter in Isaac Rendo. They have one of the better backfields in the country behind a good offensive line. The Cardinals getting the run game going against Kentucky, kind of another interesting question mark in this matchup here.
Well, and that's the big thing. I think when we talk about what's worked for Louisville, what's worked at the end of the day is their offensive line. They hit on that.
It's so good.
So many teams that have to go heavy in the portal, and I get they did return a bunch of guys, which obviously helped, but the way that unit came together that quickly under this new staff, very, very impressive job by Jeff Brohm, because at the end, that's what this team's built on, is they can run the football and they play they're very good in the front seven. So you're just looking at this Louisville team. That's what impressed me, is that this offensive line's come together and they're a dominant unit. And they block linebackers.
And I guess something that impressed me too is that this Cardinals team showed a little bit of complementary football against Miami. The one game, the defense kind of probably let it down a little bit. Not a great performance out of them, giving up 31. Jack Plummer goes out and puts up 38 points. And
if he plays like that, they can play with almost any team. Maybe not like Georgia, but they can pretty much play with anybody if Jack Plummer is going to play that way, because that's what you do. He just needs to be solid. He had the one turnover, obviously, but if he can play that type of way and hit the passes he's supposed to hit, this Louisville team's a problem.
100% agree. And Jack Plummer's been such a wild ride. Remember watching him Friday night against NC State, and he looked lost out there, had an up and down game against Virginia, but there's been games where he's gone up against some defenses and played some good ball. I think Coach Brohm does a really good job scheming some stuff up, giving himself kind of some of those easy throws. The big matchup I'm looking at with this Cardinals passing attack versus Kentucky secondary has not been great, specifically just letting stuff go underneath. They're giving up a 66% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks. That's 123rd. And that is kind of exactly Louisville. They want to push the ball down the field. I think Plummer can put the deep ball and kind of is good with the deep ball. But where they've had a lot of success as of late is, okay, we're going to use our wide receivers in those underneath schemes, get them the football in space, and let them go create after the play. Kentucky's going to let them do that. If they do, can the Cardinals wide receivers, who are phenomenal after the catch, hit some of those explosive plays after the catch?
Yeah, I also frankly like the way they called that game for Jack Plummer and kind of allowing him to thrive. It was
masterclass.
Again, using a very, very good run game. I thought they were able to drag their tight ends across the field, leak them out and up the seam, just hitting that position really effectively. And then you're right, if they just allow these wide receivers to kind of work underneath, Jack Plummer, he makes those throws. I don't know that he's a guy who's going to push the ball down the field particularly effectively ever, but he's pretty good. He's on time, and you're right, they have some wide receivers who can make plays. So I think what they did against Miami is they gave him a very good offense that he's very capable of running, and that showed. And that's as good as I think I've seen their offense look against what I think is a very good defense.
A very good defense in the Hurricanes. And I think what you have to give so much credit, and we've been giving Coach Brohm a lot of credit, but understanding what his quarterback is. And I think we've talked about Jack Plummer, 6-year guy. He's not an All-American quarterback. I think he's a solid Power 5 quarterback, but he's not a quarterback that's going to go out you and win you multiple shootouts and push the ball down the field consistently. So knowing you have a quarterback that is good at certain things and then catering to that, I think Jeff Brohm did a really good job of. That's why this Louisville offense has been putting up over 30 points per game. It's not Jack Plummer being an All-American quarterback, but recognizing we got a good run game. We got a lot of elite wide receivers, and we're going to use those guys and have Jack Plummer lean on those kind of guys. So let's get to the pick here. Line bouncing around a little bit. 7-point favorites for the Cardinals at home. How are we feeling?
I think I love Louisville. I think, frankly, the answer for Kentucky is I think Deion Walker's going to need to have a dominant game. He's like that guy on the inside. He's that guy in their defense who I think changes how teams do it.
Yes.
And if he can be super disruptive and make negative plays, I think that's how you can get after Louisville a little bit. I just think Louisville's much deeper. I think Kentucky's going to have a bear of a time scoring, and I think they'll score enough points. I think I like Louisville.
Yeah, the way I look at it, you got two defenses that are really, really good versus two offenses, and you ask, what offense do I trust more to find the plays and put up points? It's got to be this Louisville team. At home, a chance to get to 11-1, all the momentum in the world. Kentucky just went on and just lost to a South Carolina team that I don't think is that good. So give me the Cardinals here. Rivalry game, covering the touchdown, going on to the ACC championship.
It is a lot of points, though, for a rivalry, I will say, especially one that I think is
but it's kind of the vibes test. Like Kentucky loses their 2 straight. The Cardinals just taking care of business, went on the road and beat a team that I think is very, very good in the Miami Hurricanes. Give me the Louisville Cardinals here. I am buying what Coach Brohm is putting out. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.